Just a quick pop from your mum and here you are, born into the world, blind, pink, and about the size of a jelly bean, squished into the corner of a cage at the back of a pet store. Everything smells like wood shavings and, weirdly, a hint of lemon-scented cleaner. This is your new kingdom, or, as you'll come to learn, your hamster-sized prison. Around you, siblings are piled on top of each other like a stack of furry pancakes, all trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Your mum? Oh, she's a hamster too, obviously, but let's just say she's not exactly winning any Mum of the Year awards. Stress her out too much, and she might go full Hannibal Lecter on you. That's right. Hamster mums sometimes eat their babies. Yep, you heard that right. It's not because she's secretly auditioning for a horror movie, but rather a survival instinct. If she's stressed out, feels unsafe, or thinks the nursery vibes aren't up to par, she might decide the best way to deal with it is, well, turning a few pups into snacks to save her energy for herself. Brutal? Absolutely. Welcome to hamster life, where even your mum can be your biggest threat. Now, after dodging that first potential disaster, though let's be real, a few of your brothers weren't so lucky, you're smacked with a brand new problem. Your siblings themselves. Picture a no-holds-barred battle royale for milk, where the stakes are literally life or death. And of course, there's no referee. It's every hamster for itself. After plenty of shoving, squirming, and sheer hamster determination, you finally claim a decent spot in the milk line. But just as you start feeling like you've got this whole baby hamster thing figured out, bam! Your eyes open and the real chaos begins. Your first glimpse of the world is, well, disappointing. Turns out, the grand universe you've been imagining is just a glass box with a squeaky wheel, a tiny plastic igloo, and a food bowl filled with pellets that taste like cardboard. Yep, this is your life now. Then the big day comes. You're only a few weeks old when you see a human kid pointing at you through the glass, squealing in delight. Next thing you know, you're scooped up and stuffed into a cardboard box with holes poked in it. Congratulations, you've just been bought. The air smells like excitement and a faint whiff of fries from the backseat of a car. Where are you going? What's happening? Is this freedom? Spoiler alert, it's not. You're plopped into your new home, which, let's face it, feels more like a tiny prison disguised as a fun zone. The walls are a mix of metal bars and plastic, offering zero privacy and making you the star of a 24/7 reality show you didn't sign up for. The floor is littered with wood shavings, scratchy, dusty, and somehow managing to be both too thin to burrow into and too bulky to ignore. They cling to your fur like uninvited guests and give off a faint smell that's trying to pass as natural but isn't fooling anyone. There's also a water bottle clipped to the side, eternally dripping if you so much as brush against it, like a leaky faucet no one bothers to fix. And then there's the wheel that looks suspiciously like a medieval torture device. For added flair, there's a tiny plastic hut shoved into the corner, offering just enough space for you to cram yourself in, but nowhere near enough to call it cozy. Welcome to the hamster equivalent of a studio apartment. Cramped, noisy, and all about making the best of what you've got. Your human kid is thrilled, throwing out names like Fuzzy and Captain Cheeks. She can't seem to decide, and you're stuck watching as she cycles through every cheesy option imaginable. Finally, she picks one, not exactly majestic, but hey, you're just there to play the role of a furball. Curious what she settled on? Watch till the end to find out. The first night, you decide to make the best of that wheel. You hop on it, ready to conquer the world, and before you know it, you're hooked. But after 5 minutes of running, you realize you're not getting anywhere. Turns out, that's the metaphor for your entire existence. Run, run, run. But you're still stuck in the same place, while your human kid films it for her TikTok followers. And don't even get me started on the noise. You try sneaking in a midnight jog, but the squeaky wheel makes it sound like there's a rusty bicycle loose in the house. You hear your human kid stumbling out of bed yelling something about returning you to the pet store if you don't quiet down. That's really harsh. Here's the thing, hamsters are nocturnal. That means your prime time is when your owner is trying to sleep. But do they respect your natural rhythm? Nope. They expect you to be cute and entertaining during the day, and then get mad when you're partying at 2 a.m. Maybe if your owner hadn't put your home next to her bed, both of you wouldn't be having this problem. And then there is the food situation. At first, it's kind of fun digging through the pellets to find the sunflower seeds. But after a while, you realize that's all there is. Pellets that taste like sawdust with a hint of sadness. Every single day. Not exactly the fine dining experience you were hoping for. You dream of fresh fruits, crunchy veggies, maybe even a piece of cheese. But nope, pellets it is. Sometimes the human throws in a carrot slice or an apple chunk, and it feels like winning the lottery. You savor it like it's the last meal you'll ever have for the day. Because, let's face it, it probably is. And then, of course, there are your cheek pouches. You've discovered you can stuff an unbelievable amount of food in there. Think of it as your own portable pantry. Wild hamsters do this instinctively to store food for later. But you just can't help yourself. It's like having a snack stash on standby. But let's be honest, it's not all it's cracked up to be. For one, there's always that moment when you've overdone it. You waddle around with cheeks so full, you look like you've been stung by a bee. And then your owner, bless her curious little soul, decides to poke at your face because it's so cute. But the truth is, it is rather uncomfortable. Yeah, not fun at all. And then there's the downside to all that hoarding. You stash food under your bedding, thinking you're just being prepared, when suddenly you discover that what was once your precious snack has gone moldy. Turns out, being a compulsive hoarder isn't as rewarding as it seems. And if you're really unlucky, your human thinks cleaning your home once a month is good enough. Well, it's not. You're stuck living in your own filth like some kind of medieval peasant until they finally notice the smell. Glamorous, right? Let's not forget the grooming disasters. Your human might think it's a good idea to give you a bath. But newsflash, hamsters don't do baths. Water messes with your natural oils and can make you sick. What you need is a sand bath, but good luck convincing your human of that. If they're clueless enough to dunk you in water, you're in for a bad time. And then there's the dreaded human hand. It's massive, it's unpredictable, and it's always coming for you. Sometimes it brings treats, and that would be a real score. But other times, it's grabbing you for playtime. Look, I don't know who decided that being held by a giant was fun, but they were wrong. You're just trying to vibe, and suddenly you're being scooped up and dangled in the air like Simba. Oh, and let's not forget the hamster ball. Humans think it's the ultimate form of entertainment, but here's the truth. It's a plastic prison on wheels. Sure, you can roll around, but only where your human allows. Want to explore the forbidden land under the couch? Too bad. Your ball hits the wall, and that's the end of your grand adventure. Plus, have you ever tried steering one of those things? It's like trying to parallel park a car blindfolded. And just when you think it can't get worse, the family dog shows up and thinks you're a giant chew toy. By the end of it, you're dizzy, exhausted, and ready to never see that ball again. Then there are the outfits. Yep, some owners think it's hilarious to dress you up. Tiny hats, little capes, maybe even a tutu. You're not a hamster anymore, you're a furry doll. Your dignity is gone. And to top it off, they're snapping photos for Instagram. #hamsterlife, they caption. Oh, the irony. Days pass and you settle into a routine. Wake up at dusk, sniff around for food, run on the wheel, chew on stuff out of boredom, and try to dig a tunnel to nowhere. The human kid loves to watch you up close, making noises that are way too loud for your tiny ears. But hey, at least they refill your water bottle. Then, one fateful day, the human decides you're ready for an upgrade. You suddenly find yourself in a multi-story cage with tunnels and tubes that twist and turn like a hamster amusement park. Finally, some excitement. You zip through the tubes, climbing to the top like a champion. But soon, the novelty wears off. The tubes get stuffy and gross because guess what? No one cleans them. So now you're stuck crawling through what smells like a sweaty sock. And then there's the vet. One day, your owner decides you're acting weird and carts you off to a place that smells like fear and disinfectant. A stranger in a white coat pokes and prods you, shining lights in your eyes and checking your teeth. You're convinced you're about to be eaten. Turns out, you just have a mild cold. But now you're on some weird-tasting medicine that your owner insists on shoving into your mouth with a tiny syringe. As the weeks go by, you start to notice something. Your human's enthusiasm is slowing waning. The kid doesn't play with you as much anymore. Not that you're complaining. What really mattered, though, is the state of your so-called home. The wheel? It's gotten even squeakier, screaming for some oil that no one seems inclined to provide. And the water bottle? Don't get me started. Let's just say you're becoming real good at rationing, because those drips are getting fewer and farther between. Boredom sets in. You've chewed every corner of your cage, shredded all the bedding into tiny pieces, and memorized every inch of your not-so-spacious home. You've even tried redecorating, moving your food bowl to the other side of the cage, but it's not exactly a grand renovation. The human occasionally remembers you exist, giving you a pat on the head or tossing in a new toy. But mostly, you're left to your own devices. You start to wonder, is this it? Is this all there is? Running on a wheel, eating pellets and staring at the same four walls every day? A hamster's life is short. By the time you've figured out how to deal with all the nonsense, your body is already slowing down. Your once fluffy coat starts looking a little scruffy, and you no longer have the same energy to run on the wheel or chew the bars. You spend more time curled up in your bedding, dreaming of wide-open fields you've never seen. One day, the kid notices you're not moving as much. They poke you gently, and you blink up at them, too tired to care. They run to their parents, who mumble something about the circle of life. You don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. You're scooped up one last time and placed in a shoebox with some tissues. It's oddly cozy, but you're too weak to appreciate it. The human kid whispers, "Goodbye, Mr. Nibbles." And for the first time, you realize they actually cared about you, even if they didn't always show it. And just like that, your tiny hamster life comes to an end. You spent your days running nowhere, eating the same bland food, and dreaming of freedom you'd never taste. But as you take your final breath and close your tiny eyes, the end feels more like a beginning. Suddenly, you wake up. But this time, you're not a hamster. You're a newly hatched terrapin, cracking your way out of an eggshell. Is this your chance at a better life? Watch this video to find out more.